When you stand in a dark hallway, why does your own home suddenly feel occupied? The answer is not just childhood, ghosts, or imagination. It is much more disturbing. Your eyes contain about 120 million night-sensing rod cells, and somehow, in darkness, that huge system still gives your brain almost nothing it can trust. So your brain does something ancient. It starts guessing. That is the first trap. You think fear of the dark is fear of what you can't see, but that is not quite right. You are afraid because your brain can still see just enough. A totally black void would be easier. No shapes, no corners, no coat pretending to breathe. But most darkness is not empty. It is half information. And half information is where your brain becomes dangerous. Remember that number, 120 million. It comes back in a weird way. The obvious answer is predators. Your ancestors were small, soft, and edible. At night, big cats could see better. Snakes could hide better. A snapping twig could mean teeth. So the nervous ones survived. That answer is true, but it is too clean. Here's the problem with that. You can feel afraid in a locked apartment. You can feel afraid under a blanket. You can feel afraid after checking the room twice. Nothing is hunting you. Your brain knows that. So why does your chest still tighten? Because darkness is not a thing your brain detects. Darkness is the removal of a thing your brain depends on. Vision is your main reality checker. It is the security camera in your skull. Turn it down, and every other system gets louder. Your hearing sharpens. Your skin notices tiny drafts. Your balance feels odd. Your imagination starts filing missing person reports. Wait, it gets worse. Your brain does not wait for proof before reacting. It reacts first, then asks questions. Deep inside your brain sits the amygdala. It helps flag threats fast. Not perfectly. Fast. That difference matters. A false alarm wastes energy. A missed alarm can kill you. So your brain is built like a smoke detector that screams at burnt toast. In daylight, your eyes correct the alarm. That is a jacket. That is a lamp. That is your laundry mountain judging you. But in the dark, the correction arrives weak, so the alarm keeps going, and your body believes it. Your heart beats faster, your muscles tense, your breathing gets shallow. Your brain releases stress chemicals like norepinephrine. Now you are more alert, which means you notice more tiny sounds, which makes you more afraid, which makes you more alert. That loop is why darkness feels alive. Not because something is there, because your body starts acting like something is there, and your brain hates explaining body signals with nothing. So it invents a cause. Here's the second layer. Your eyes do not work like a camera. They work more like a detective with bad lighting. In bright light, cone cells give you color and detail. In dim light, rod cells take over. Those are the 120 million cells from earlier. Rods are extremely sensitive. They can help you see in low light, but they are terrible at detail and color. They mostly live away from the center of your vision. That is why faint stars appear better when you look slightly beside them. Your night vision is basically peripheral gossip. So in the dark, your brain receives blurry edges, a vertical line, a dark patch, a movement that might be real. Then it completes the picture, like autocorrect for reality. And autocorrect is terrible when it is scared. That is why a hanging coat becomes a person. Your brain is not being stupid. It is using a survival shortcut. If a shape could be a human figure, treat it like one. If a sound could be footsteps, prepare. If the corner could hide something, stare at it until it confesses. This is called a threat bias. Your brain gives possible danger extra weight. You do not need to identify every harmless object. You only need to survive the one harmful object. So the dark turns your room into a courtroom, and every shadow is guilty until proven furniture. But that still does not explain the worst part. Why does darkness feel personal? Why does it feel watched? A dark forest is scary, but a dark doorway is intimate. It feels aimed at you. That is the third layer. Your brain is obsessed with agents. An agent is anything with intention. A person, an animal, something that wants. When information is missing, your brain often prefers an agent over an accident. A branch scraped the window, but your brain asks, who touched the glass? Pipes clicked in the wall, but your brain asks, Who moved? The house settled, but your brain asks, who is inside? This is not weakness. It is a paranoid talent. If you mistake wind for a stranger, you lose sleep. If you mistake a stranger for wind, you may lose everything. So your brain leans toward the creepier answer. That lean kept you alive. Now it ruins your hallway. Children show this even more clearly. Fear of darkness is common in childhood. It often appears when imagination becomes powerful. A young brain can picture danger before it can dismiss it. The monster is not seen, it is simulated. And simulation can scare the body almost like reality. You still carry that machine. You just learned adult names for the monsters. Intruder, illness, accident, unknown noise. The dark does not create fear from nothing. It gives your fear a blank screen. Now the full answer lands. You are not afraid of the dark. You are afraid of uncertainty with no referee. Darkness removes clear evidence. Your brain fills the gap with predictions. Evolution loads those predictions toward danger, and your body reacts before your logic can object. That is why the fear survives locks, blankets, and rational thoughts. Your thinking brain says, nothing is there. Your older brain says, that is exactly the problem. Nothing is visible. Nothing is confirmed. Nothing is safe yet. Remember the 120 million rod cells? They are not proof that night vision is comforting. They are proof that your brain tries desperately to rescue meaning from darkness. But rods give you shadows, not certainty. And a shadow is the cheapest material for building a monster. This also explains a strange trick. If you turn on one small lamp, the fear can collapse instantly. The room did not change. The chair did not become less evil. Your brain just got a referee back. It can check the prediction. It can delete the monster. But here's the part nobody talks about. Darkness does not only hide the world, it reveals you. When the room goes quiet, there is less to distract your mind. Your brain starts hearing itself. That can feel worse than any closet. At night, worries grow teeth. A regret from 3 years ago walks in. A future problem sits on your chest. Your own heartbeat becomes loud enough to monitor. You are not just afraid of something in the dark. Sometimes you are afraid of being alone with the machine that creates fear. This is why darkness is tied to sleep, and sleep is tied to helplessness. To sleep, you must stop guarding the body. You must lie down, close your eyes, and trust the room. That is an insane biological agreement. Every night, you practice being defenseless. Most nights it works, but sometimes the guard refuses to leave. That is when the dark becomes electric. Every creak matters. Every silence matters more. You are lying in the safest place you know, and your brain is rehearsing danger anyway. There are conditions where this becomes extreme. Nyctophobia is an intense fear of darkness. It can affect sleep and daily life. Scientists still study exactly why it sticks in some brains, but the pattern is familiar. The dark becomes paired with panic. Then panic becomes evidence. Then the room itself feels like a threat. And there is one more uncomfortable twist. Modern life may make the old fear stranger. You spend your day flooding your brain with light, screens, voices, and alerts. Then night cuts the feed. The silence feels unnatural. Not because darkness is new, because constant stimulation is. Your ancestors feared the dark because it contained real risk. You fear the dark because your brain still uses that ancient software. But now, it runs inside bedrooms, apartments, and glowing cities. The predator is mostly gone. The alarm system stayed. So the next time a shadow looks wrong, you can name the trick. Your rods are giving blurry clues. Your amygdala is favoring danger. Your brain is assigning intention to noise. And your body is treating uncertainty like evidence. That will not always make the fear vanish. Knowing the magician's method does not stop the rabbit appearing, but it changes the monster. It becomes less like a visitor, more like a message from an older version of you. The dark is not empty. It is full of your brain trying to protect you from things that are not there. And that connects to something even stranger. Why do you sometimes feel watched when you are completely alone? If this scratched the right part of your brain, subscribe to Mind Itch, a new question every single day.